moment they join. All right, guys, excellent. First of all, my name is Ronnie, and welcome to today's FITBANKER Masterclass. So we run a number of such masterclasses from time to time, and the intention of these masterclasses is really, at a minimum, we want to leave you all equipped with something that you can take on and implement in your lifestyle that will begin to alter the trajectory of your health journey. And you know, I'm the founder of this organization, and everything that I share here is something that we share and that we learned through discovery. This is not some textbook-based theory program. This is not the kind of lesson that you can definitely take notes of some things, and I do want you guys to write some things down. There was also an email that was sent out to all nudging people about today's session, and I did ask specifically a question there to some of you. So if some of you didn't see that particular email that registered for today's masterclass, I will be asking that question again today. And for that, I would love for you to write something down. Otherwise, most of what you learn, you know, feel free to take notes if you want. You know, if you do screenshot it, that's also fine. If you do want some of the content, like a high resolution version of something that's shared, like recipes and stuff that we might share, I can also send those to you if we are connected already on social media. And if you did register for this webinar, you would have received an email with links to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'd love to connect with people. Our program is really quite, you know, personal, and you are dealing with a real human being at this end, and we've designed this program knowing very well that we're also dealing with human beings that have the challenges of being busy, have the challenges of kids, have the challenges of business, have the challenges of long working hours. We all have that. You might find a kid or a baby screaming right now in my background here because we're working from home, and we have a couple of babies in this house. So, you know, I totally relate to, and I go through the same experience myself. And we are completely designed to really support people with whatever life is throwing at them. So first, I just want to welcome you. As mentioned before we hit record, that there are people that are going to be joining, and there are people that have just joined now since we started. And today's session is for 3 groups of people, which is people that are already signed up for an upcoming challenge, and well done to you guys. And you're here this is to give you an insight of what's required to get ready for the start of your program. And we will talk about certain apps that you require and certain habits that we're going to incorporate inside the design of your program. So I will flag those when I say, look, take note of this. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to download, and so on. Then there are also people here that are here to find out, what is this FITBANKER challenge? Maybe you saw somebody's photo out there and you're inspired by their journey, and you thought, you know what, I want a little bit of what that person is having. And the third category are people that are participants and coaches on this program. And we continually are growing our team. We are committed to developing leaders. And the leaders that we develop are people that we really want to be change agents in the world out there, that are altering their families, altering their communities, altering their places of work through our education. So people have gone through the program, and then we train and develop them as coaches and leaders of our work. And so that's something which is also open to everyone once you've gone through our pilot program, which is the FITBANKER Challenge. So we're going to look at mastering or understanding what we call the pursuit of optimal health. You know, most of us know very clearly something that we don't want, right? Which is, oh, you know, I don't want this excess weight that I've gained, or I don't want disease, or I don't want illness. And when that happens, it's very easy for us. The default world that we've grown up in is you go to this thing called the medical system or a doctor, and you say, can you fix this for me, right? So we are very conditioned to be reactive. And what we exist for is to inspire people to pursue what we call optimal health. And I'm going to explain what we mean by optimal health, and I'll be sharing with you some of the transformation essentials that are required to cause that transformation for you, to empower you in that journey, and what really works, and, you know, some of the stuff that knowing it, you know, doesn't make a difference, it doesn't work, right? So that's what we really want. That's what we really want people to be left with at the end of today's webinar. Like I said, today's webinar is completely, you know, for you. We're gathered around the coffee table, so please ask questions, right? I really want you guys to juice any knowledge, information, anything that you're struggling with. Please ask, even if it's not on the slides. There'll be an opportunity at the end for anyone to ask any questions. And if there's a particular slide or you have a burning question, unmute yourself and ask me. I won't see you if you raise your virtual hand because there's quite a number of you. I can't see everybody on screen at the same time. Okay, so I'd like to ask you guys, and some of you that got this email where we sent out today, inquiring about what we are here to create today. I asked each of you guys on that email if you read it, and if you didn't read it, that's fine. I'm going to create that question again here. The question from Jennifer: how long is the session? The session is 1 hour 15 minutes. So we start at 7:30 and it's going to go on till 8:45 p.m. today. Okay, and those of you, a great question. There's also at the end, those of you that are interested in the program, we are going to have a special thank you offer at the end for those that want to find out a bit more about it. And there's a little gift for you guys at the end if you do hang on till the end. But because this is only going to be shared with people that are registered for this, you have to stick around to get that. Okay, so I want to start off by asking people here, if you can, I want to hear from each of you. And this is a little bit of visualization. It's the start of every transformation journey. Like I say, most of us are very clear what we don't want, right? You end up with a particular type of body or waist size or low energy or lethargy or an illness or a disease or you're on medication. Those are very clear to highlight as something that we don't want. But what most of us don't have very clear and articulate with specificity in our mind is really what is it we're in pursuit of? What does that want that we have look like? So I'm going to ask a question and I want a number of you to unmute yourself and if you can share very quickly. So for a second, I want you guys, if you could, all close your eyes for a second while I ask this question. And I just want you to visualize something with me. So I'm going to close my eyes and I want all of you guys to ponder this because it might be the first time that you are visualizing or imagining this something for you. And it is, if you had unlimited energy, if you had unlimited strength, and if you had complete self-belief, self-love, self-confidence, and conviction in yourself, right? What is it you would want to do? Or what is it you would, or who is it you would want to be? And it might be a particular adventure you wanted to do, a particular hobby, a particular sport, a particular career. And the reason I ask that is we have this term in the FITBANKER program that we call unlimited potential. And we define that as when a person experiences their unlimited energy, unlimited strength, and that complete self-belief, self-love, and self-conviction. Like, what could they go on to do? And that's what we're really committed to humans discovering is latent in each of them. So you can now open your eyes, and I'd love to ask a number of you guys to unmute yourself and please share. And this is you chatting with me across a coffee table. So I'd love to hear what that is for you. Who'd like to go? Please
I'll go. Ronnie.
Yeah, Jigs.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know how specific I can get with it yet, but I think what I'd like to do is have a much lower body weight to start with, and back to where I was, say, about 10 years ago, and the levels of energy I had about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which helped me start a business and helped me get that off the ground. I think I'd like that back again. But then also, I've got a whole bunch of projects like, I'd like to be able to start really getting serious about my music and a few other things, which you can only do once you have a certain level of energy outside work. So I think it's a combination of those things.
Got it. So if you had that unlimited energy, strength, self-belief, it would be to pursue those other ideas or passions that you have for you.
At the same time.
Correct.
That's the problem.
Got it. Awesome. Very clear. And I want each of you to be clear with what that is. And if you aren't somebody that's going to get a chance to unmute and share, then I invite you to really write that down, because the universe and your body and your mind completely listens to what you're creating that you want, right? It's right now listening to our internal voice when we say things like, oh, I'm not this and I don't have time for that, or whatever it is. That's the reality we get to weave. All right, who else would like to share?
Hey, Ronnie, I'll go for it next. So I guess, it's about being the very best version of yourself and kickstarting that journey by looking at your health in every aspect. So what you consume, so what you are is what you eat. As Jiggs was talking about, it's about energy. So if you want to create abundance around you, then clearly you need to be eating the right things. But equally, as much as it's about feeding the body, you've got to exercise the body in the right way, do the right things. You know, I'm saying to one of the guys on the call here, who's a friend of mine, you know, I'd love to be Tom Hopper. Is that realistic? Probably, but it will take an awful lot of work to do that. So, so I think for me, I know it's a very general notion.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something that I think will kickstart that. It'll get me to that, to be the very best version of me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. So a question I'm going to ask you and add on for that, and I want all of us to look at that, is when you get to be the very best version of you, what is it then you get to do being that?
So for me, it's just I think I've got everything I need, but I just want a different way of getting there. You know.
Got it.
So I can't complain too much about my career. I can't complain about many things, to be fair.
Yeah.
But there's always other ways to try to help you get there, and that can't be a bad thing.
Okay, got it. Got it. And that, for those of you that can't see, that's Umit Jani who's sharing. And Umit, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from the lovely dales and valleys of Wembley. There you go.
Awesome. All right, lovely to have you join, and thank you so much for sharing that. All right, let's have one more person share, and then I would like the rest of you to really articulate and write this down. So who'd like to go?
Yeah. So mine would be the mental and physical energy. It's not just about the physical health.
Yep.
But it's mental health as well that goes alongside it.
Amazing. Yeah.
And having that equilibrium, having that ultimate energy physically to do what I want to do, and having the mental ability to do it as well without the blockages, and having that equal balance.
Yeah.
So I can do my business, do my career, whatever I want to do. It all kind of levels out.
Got it. Awesome. It's completely stuff that we hear and participants cause, and we see this where it's really what I call mental fitness, right? It's not even just mental well-being, but really getting that, experiencing what we call that peak of mental fitness, which really brings a lot of clarity and power in all our actions. I just want to check, that was Manish, by the way, and Manish is somebody who's already signed up to the program, as Jiggs. Karen, did you want to share? I was trying to read your body language. I'm not sure if you wanted to share when Manish was about to go.
No, I was just thinking, I agree with the comments that have been mentioned before. I'd love to go back to, you know, how I used to look before children.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's probably women that have got children, once you get to that stage, it's hard to sort of get back unless you've got the sort of that network and support to go to the gym and get fit.
Yeah.
You know, I was a gym goer before, and now it just feels that it's all about the kids. And yeah, so ideally it'd be great. I haven't got rid of my wardrobe. I've still got a wardrobe. Still look at those clothes. It's like you got that much wardrobe, and I'm using like this percentage of the clothes. It just gets you a little bit down. So I think when you think, oh, when I get to that weight, I'll be happy again. Because 10 years ago, I was really happy. Well, not that I'm happy now. I'm happy, but you know, sort of get to that mindset again. You just think, oh, so it's mind, body, all of that.
Got it.
Sort of combined, and then you could achieve more, isn't it? So.
Okay, got it. So brilliant. I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for sharing that. And as you're sharing, a few of the other ladies were also just nodding their heads when you're talking about the wardrobe, especially. So I don't know if it was an agreement or whether that's also an aspiration or goal for those, or whether some of them are participants and they've achieved that and they've been able to get back to some of that. But I want to let you know that we have a lot of mums who've taken on our program, and a lot of them, for some of them, it's, you know, literally 4 weeks or 8 weeks after delivery, they've taken on the program and they've gotten to their peak. There are people who've been 9 years, never heard of us, never taken on their well-being, thought that wouldn't return because their belief system completely created their physique and body that we had. We're going to talk about that next. And they were able to transform this within 90 days or within two challenges, 2 90-day cycles of doing a program. Within 6 months, they've got to not just what I call pre-pregnancy weight, but to their fittest yet status in life. And they've gone on to multiple other things. And I'll be sharing some of what else we offer that people have gone on to do inside of our program, including some of our coaches. Okay, excellent. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Thank you for your contribution to this. Like I said, that first step is about that visualization. So getting very clear on that visualization that you want and being clear of what it is you're seeking and pursuing. However, the way we currently are, I want each of you to consider that the current health, the current body, the current lifestyle and physique that we have is completely a function of our existing belief system, right? And I really want you to look at that. The way you are right now, your levels of energy, the food that you ate in your plate right now and didn't want to turn on your camera, the amount, whether you went to the gym today or didn't go to the gym, the amount of sleep you had, the amount of waking hours you were awake and the hours you worked are completely a function of what you believe is essential, what you believe must be done, what you believe is a necessity for you. And each of us are completely conforming to our existing belief and information and knowledge that we have and acting upon that. So all of us have within us a current belief system, and that belief system is creating our status quo. And the first step to any transformation is to call yourself out that my existing reality that I am now is completely a function of our belief system. And that's defined as what I call the 3 I's. You have within your brain and through your background and your upbringing and your career and your family values and manners and your habits, a set of information of these are the things that we have to do. These are the non-negotiables. Like no matter what happens, I have to make sure I have a shelter over my head. Like that's the level, that's a necessity. You'd take care of that. You have a certain view that, you know what, some people may have a view, which is I have to provide for my family and I have to pay this month's mortgage. And that level of information will become a top priority for you, and it will exceed, say, going to the gym or optimizing your health or eating a certain way, right? Because in your world and your information, that is stacked up as something more of a priority than other areas of your life that you have neglected. They're completely a function of your information. And then you have this inspiration that you're acting upon. So you may go to work and pay a mortgage or pay your bills because you have this inspiration, which is, if I don't, I'm going to lose my house, or I'll be kicked out, or I'll be homeless, right? Or you might be going to the gym, and it might be because you're inspired that going to the gym makes the difference. But then maybe something else is not shifting, and it might be one of the other pillars that we look at, which is nutrition, sleep, and a few other areas that we look at. And the third one, this is where the gold is, and this is where we as a business exist, is the implementation. You can have all the information of what's necessary to know, all the information that we share here. You could be inspired, or you could be what I call misinspired, which is your game or your why or that vision that you shared might be such a small game that you're playing in life, which will only drag you so far through your transformation journey. And we always invite our participants to expand. And when they sign up the program, they get a questionnaire where they have to complete. And in there, we ask them to share what we call their greater why, right? And that greater why, that inspiration, that raison d'etre that pulls them and gets them out of bed every day, if they expand that large enough, then the way it occurs for you to eat, not eat, train, not train, nutrition, supplementing, whatever it is, completely will conform to your existing belief system. But what supports that, what's right, what works, what doesn't work, what foods to remove for you, what to have when you're feeling low and you don't feel like training and you have a coach get on a call and pull you out of that rut, that's the implementation side. That's the support structure that really, really makes a difference. So to create something new, if you guys want to alter your status quo, if you want to maintain your status quo, then perfectly hold on to exactly how your 24 hours are going on now, and you've solved your problem. But if you want to alter something, then I really invite you to be on today's webinar, really listening differently, which is in a way that you want to learn something that you previously didn't know prior to showing up and connecting with us and joining into this masterclass. So to create something new, we need to alter our understanding. And so everything that you currently believe are things that you think or know to do, and yet you haven't acted upon them. I want you to consider that those aren't the things to know, right? So if you think I already know what to do, I'm just not doing it, I want you to consider that you don't know what's adequate enough to actually create within you that impetus to get out there and go for that run or train or avoid certain foods. Because your belief system is completely holding on to this existing status quo. So before we go into how the program works, the results that we cause and how we cause them, I want to very quickly share with you, for those of you that aren't familiar with my journey from being a fat banker to fit banker. That's me in 2014. That's me about 6-7 months later in 2015. They called me beautiful then. They called me beautiful here on the right as well. The world is such a polite and kind place. My background is in auditing and finance and accounting. I'm originally from Zambia. I've been in the UK now for about 15 years. And I worked in audit and finance, and the longest bit of my career was with JP Morgan, where I was vice president. I had a pan-European career, traveled across, grew up business across Europe, did a short stint of work in the US, did some pro bono projects sponsored by the bank in Kenya and Senegal with an organization called Bankers Without Borders. I loved that job. I totally enjoyed it. I was very well remunerated. And my belief system and definition of success at the time was you work hard and you party harder. So much like the image in the bottom right corner, that's not actually us, that's from the Wolf of Wall Street. But it wasn't too dissimilar, the kind of fun and enjoyment that we had. But living that lifestyle and what I believed in my 3 I's as my information, what the definition of success was, my inspiration called money, titles, corporate organization, and the implementation structure called the organization I walked in every day and did it not 9 to 5, but 9 to 9 or 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, that implementation structure completely led to this guy, right? That brilliant system, if you want to be part of it, it's brilliant. It makes these guys, and this is the one that it chiseled out for me. And this was me at 32, 33 years old, 108 kilos, 40-inch waist, and completely resigned that there's anything I could do about my double chin, about my waist, about the body I had. And everything I ate, I believed was healthy and fresh. And it had words like organic on it. It had words like vegetarian. It had words like healthy. We had the best canteen that I thought JP Morgan really provided to take care of its employees and its staff. But living that lifestyle, I was 1, resigned that anything would shift. And number 2, I was so much in denial that I would go in the face of that and show people, look, I can still party hard. I can still take on some adventures. So I did Kilimanjaro when I was 100 kilos still. And I did one of the world's highest ice bucket challenges there. That's me with a frozen face after I discovered what happens to ice on your face or water on your face at negative temperatures. And that's me doing a Daniel Craig pose in New Zealand, one of the beaches, right? And the reason I do that, and many of us do that, is we use self-deprecating humor to not want to engage in a serious conversation about our well-being. So when somebody talks to us about it, we say jokes like, well, someone says you're out of shape, and I'll say, well, round is a shape. You know, we have some form of defending or rejecting getting into any depth of a conversation around an area of our life or our health or well-being that isn't working for us. And living this lifestyle and of what I called or thought was success at the time, shortly after getting married to my wife, Ambika, we were 9 months married. And while we're 9 months married, it was our first break after honeymoon. And I decided to take Ambika to the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's an epic festival of joy, laughter, fun, happiness. There's theater, there's performance, there's stand-up comedy. The who's who in the stand-up world go there before they become a big name. And this Edinburgh Fringe Festival, we're there to celebrate her birthday. It's our first break. And on top of that, we have some awesome news. We are 3 months pregnant and we're soon going to be parents. And we thought that would be a beautiful place to make it official by posting on Facebook to say, we are going to be parents. But while we were there and the future looked bright and beautiful and amazing, we had a miscarriage and we lost the little one. And it was a crushing moment for Ambika. It was a really crushing moment for me. And in addition to dealing with the loss of this baby, this family member, we were also dealing with how do I console my wife here who's crying, who's lost a baby and just saying, my baby, my baby. And she's just endlessly in tears. And that led to some form of stress for me. I got these random heart palpitations. And our health is not just what we can physically do or not do, but when we get an emotional setback, it immediately communicates to our body. And I experienced that with these heart palpitations. And that the following night, I ended up in hospital. And I remember when we were in hospital there, I was lying on this bed and I'm dozing off and I'm looking to my side and my wife is sat there on the chair and she's dozing off, waiting for the results of the next stage of the test that's going to happen. I have all these gadgets stuck into me, blood tests taken, ECG tests and ECG stress tests happening. And I'm like, just go home, go home and sleep, rest properly, come back in the morning, I'll be all right. And she just screamed. She goes, there's no way I'm waking up tomorrow having lost another one. And this is the first time I really got a sense of understanding what I call self-worth. And what I mean by self-worth, it was the first time I understood that, wow, there's another being and there are other human beings that actually bank on my fitness. And that's where the word FITBANKER comes from. It's people that bank on their fitness. It's got nothing to do with being a banker or not being a banker, but getting that people really bank on your fitness. And when you get that you have parents that count on you, or siblings that count on you, or employees that count on you, or kids that count on you, then the context of how you take care of this vehicle begins to shift. And that was the beginning of my journey researching nutrition, exercise. And then I threw myself into this body transformation challenge, coached myself, went to 29 pounds a month gym. And I went through this transformation. If I had one session with a nutritionist or a counselor, normally a very good nutritionist, counselor, therapist costs about $100 a session, right? So if you went for $100 a session, you go for 10 sessions, you'll spend $1,000 on something of that nature very easily, right? Sometimes they may or may not make a sustainable difference, but I was able to cause this shift. And beyond that, I said, I want to expand my discovery. It led to a lot of people reaching out to me. Ronnie, what did you eat? How did you train? How did you work? And I said, you know what, maybe we could create an offering out of this, create a program. So we created this program called the FITBANKER Challenge to support and empower people to cause a transformation for their journey. And a number of you here have done the program. A number of you are signed up to it and waiting for the beginning of the program. And some of you are here to find out. And so let's have a look at some of what we've created. And as I share these stories, I want you to consider, one, you will go through that physical and mental transformation, but then what do you get to do with that new physique, right? What do you get to do with that new person that you chisel out? In my case, I caused a business that is now global, and we're serving hundreds, if not thousands of lives globally through what we do. And I want you to consider what would happen if you got to experience your optimal health and got to get your mental and physical well-being at its peak. This is a doctor. She's based in San Francisco. She's a GP. She knows everything. Like I say, knowledge doesn't make the difference. She knows everything being a doctor. A number of you here are medical professionals. That knowledge doesn't make the difference. And she took on a program, and the implementation of it caused her to lose 9.1 kilos in 90 days. That's about 20 pounds lost in 90 days. As a busy mom of two, busy wife, taking care of the home, and a busy career, she was able to cause this shift. She's gone on to do things like now treks that she never would have done at the age of 39 and 40. This is Ellie. I met Ellie on one of our treks before she did our program. We also do monthly treks. And she came on a trek and she goes, I'm going to do a program and I'm going to be an actress. And I remember looking at her, the person on the left, and I just said, you know what? Go for it. Like, do it. And she took on a program. In the program, she lost 11.3 kilos. Then she went on to lose 20 kilos. Then she took on acting course and classes and began to act in Western theaters, or some of the theaters across London. And now she's a screenplay writer, a script writer for theater and acting. And she has experienced her passion for that, come out with such conviction and confidence. She truly has maintained a being in there, and she loves pursuing and creating in that space. And some of you shared what you would go on to do is fulfill on those ideas of creativity, of whatever it may be. These are the guys I call the fit doctors. Again, another pair of doctors who know the knowledge, have known it for 12, 13, 14, 15 years of their training and career, but they take on this program. The guy on the left at 47 loses 53 pounds. Dr. Sijo Parakito, the guy on the right, loses 36 pounds. And every year they do this drive. That's their car in the background. They drive across the US called Drive for Men's Health. They're urologists, and they're very phenomenal guys. And I met them here. They came to deliver a TED Talk in London. And after they delivered this TED Talk, they heard about me. We caught up for dinner. I explained a bit about how the program works. And then they went on to do it, signed up the program, and they caused these amazing transformations. Now they get to be and embody what they stand for, which is optimal health for all human beings out there, even though they're urologists. This is Simran. Simran is somebody who all her life identified or relates to herself as overweight. She does our program, and when she signs up to a program, the first thing that happens in the environment that she's part of, which is her home, her household, her family, they were like, what on earth are you doing? This is ridiculous. Why are you signing up to such a program? Why are you posting your photos on social media? She went on to break the female record. She lost 15.8 kilos. She was a record holder at the time. That's since been broken. In 90 days, she lost 15.8. It's now 16.5 kilos. She then went on to sign up to Kilimanjaro. Again, a family who've always related to her as overweight and not able to do stuff. Said, what on earth are you doing? You'll get stuck on the mountain. And she signs up to Kili, starts training, went on to lose 20 kilos, and summited Mount Kilimanjaro with us in 2017. We also do annual leadership summits there. And now this year we're doing 2 of them. We're going to go from lockdown straight to summit, which is going to be epic. And this soldier here is actually live there today, joined in. And this person joined me as a vegan, saying, oh, Ronnie, I don't know how much your program's going to do for me. I'm already vegan. I'm already healthy. And some of you might have that view. And I've always been lacto-vegetarian all my life. I've never eaten non-veg, but the fat dude that I was and unhealthy guy that I was overweight and vegetarian. And many of us have this myth that being vegetarian or being vegan equals healthy. It isn't. And so Preeti was very coachable, took on our program, stretched herself out by signing up to this thing. She went on to lose, I've still got the outdated pictures. I'm sorry, Preeti. This is only 30 days in. She went on to lose, what was it, Preeti, 13 kilos?
It was 12.
12 kilos, 12 point something kilos. And she's got this on the surface level, you can see a six pack coming out. And she went from 25 to her scale showing 12% fat. Right? So 25 to 12% fat in 90 days of a program. I do apologize, I don't have that updated photo here because this was created midway through Preeti's transformation journey. I must update that. And then some of you are here. I'd love to know by raise of hands, how many of you are here because you got inspired by this amazing photo, by this super mama, super tell, who's also on here today. And she's also somebody who has just begun a program. She's literally 30 days into her challenge. So I want to make sure you know that the image on the left is her pre-FITBANKER. This is her in May when she joined the program. And within a month, you can see a shift in her toning, level of her physique, her training. And not only that, her understanding of her body and nutrition is just next level, right? And I really take this as a compliment. Sue shared her transformation journey on a number of social media groups. And some of the comments, about hundreds of comments and about multiple hundreds, almost 1,000 reactions to her post, really loving and congratulating her. But when someone said, oh, the image on the right clearly looks like it's photoshopped. And I was like, oh, that's a compliment because, I'd love to create images that look like they're photoshopped when they aren't and they're taken from your mobile. So all of you can create that phenomenal transformation, which is a very natural, authentic and real process through altering your education. So thank you guys that have been on this and sharing. And I'm going to invite any of you that are on here, Sue, Preeti, anyone else that's a coach or participant. If people have questions that come and the participant wants to answer your experience, please do answer those. I'll let you know when we get there. So now I'm going to go into how the model works. How do we cause these results that we've caused for people? And what are the pieces and aspects and facets of our program that really work? Because we have the implementation side. What is the implementation side? So Einstein says you have to learn the rules of the game and then you have to play better than anyone else. So what are those rules? So people often ask me, I love your program, but this diet is not for me. And I say, we're not a diet. All we're offering is the education, which are the principles of how your body works, how fat molecules accumulate, how fat molecules therefore break down and dissipate out of your body, how you build muscle, how you tear muscle tissue, how you rebuild it with protein. And understanding these principles, you get to redefine and redesign your body. It is completely moldable if you understand some of these very simple principles. Now, we have 10 such webinars that we cover. We have over 15 hours of webinar content, and then you have weekly coaching calls with the coach and a load of other bonuses that we provide throughout the 90 days of your program. So I'm picking up some of the high level stuff that we can share with you because I really want you, whether you join our community or not, I want you to make a shift in your world and your lifestyle if currently what you have is not serving you. So it's what we call the model of transformative health. And we alter your behavior. While we have fitness on the tin, what we're doing is behavioral change. Because your body, your six-pack, your strength, your energy are all outcomes. They're only outcomes of altering what you do inside the 24 hours and the 7 days a week. So that 24/7 content of what your day comprises of is what we work on, and we alter that. And that altering that habits, behaviors, beliefs, knowledge creates a new brain pattern. For those of you that have a background in Vedas or Vedic understanding, it's what we call a vasana. Our brain's wired a particular way. And the way that works is when we're growing up, we have an experience and we make an interpretation of that experience. Like it was sports day at school for me. I'm 8 years old. They're calling out the list of all the sports and all the people that are going to participate in that. And they go through the 100-meter race, the relay, the long jump, the high jump. They went to the sack race. They didn't still call my name. The egg and spoon race, they didn't call my name. And then they go, and we now have a new race. It's called the memory race. And Ronak, that's the one you're doing. And I thought, what on earth is the memory race? And they said, you stand at the start line, you walk about 5 or 10 meters, you look in this Pandora's box of colorful objects and items and gifts. You have to visually memorize as much as you can, and then you write them down on a notepad. You come back to the start line. Whoever writes down the most items wins the race. And I remember thinking as an 8-year-old kid, hang on, that's not sporty. That's brainy. And then fast forward a few years, I moved to a new school, and I'm in that new school, I get repeat evidence. I want to go to this new school. All I want to do is fit in and belong with my new schoolmates. I'm 11 years old, or 11 years old. And they're choosing the football teams at lunchtime, and they choose everyone, but then they choose me last. And I made a decision at that moment, which is, hang on, these guys think I'm not really good at football. So I'm not athletic, I'm academic. And I was doing great in class. So I spent all my life with that decision. And my brain formed this pattern. When our brain makes this meaning, these synapses fire in our brain, and these neurons fire and form a particular pathway. And every time some more evidence comes to reinforce that belief, it strengthens that particular pathway. And our brain goes through life fixed thinking through a set pattern, or what we call a mental construct. Think of it as a template or a stencil, or some kind of filter. It can only push things out the other side based on the holes of the pattern or the mold that's been created and wired a certain way. And some of us are still enslaved in this pattern that we've formed for all our childhood, for 20, 30, or 40 years. And we're living this lifestyle wondering why, no matter all these new things we try, aren't causing a different result. What we want to create is a paradigm shift. We want to completely alter the outcome by altering the inner work that's going on inside you. So the three phases to any transformation. The first one is awareness. So we acknowledge what's there. We try to understand everything you know and believe to be true about food. Some of you think, oh, I need to have bread daily. I must have my cornflakes. Kellogg's are good for me because there's a crossword on the back of it every day. There's a whole bunch of belief system that you have of what you call healthy, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff which you believe in your mind as, oh, that's too dangerous. I can't do that. I can't give this up. I can't give that up. That existing mental construct of yours is keeping you exactly where you are. So you need to write that down, and we go through some exercises where we understand what you believe about food, about exercise, about yourself. Number two, we replace the existing by taking you through some assignments each week and giving you content each week. And if you implement those assignments out there in the world, then your brain forms a new pattern, a new discovery, a new vasana, a new mental construct, and you begin to operate newly in that area. And the third one is the way we teach and the way we learn. Is there are some times and parts of the program where we will say to you, before we tell you what to eat and we give you a detailed meal plan, for about 10 to 14 days, the first 10 to 14 days of the program, we tell you what not to eat. And then we give you a shopping list. And then you need to go and shop from that shopping list, knowing what you cannot eat is a forbidden food. And you need to discover for yourself, hang on, then what can I cook out of these ingredients? And that type of learning through discovery, or what we call these aha moments or surprises, we never forget the moments in life we were surprised or shocked, because the way the brain retains those moments is they last. And that's how we really create and rewire new and existing patterns for you. So doing that, we create this new mental construct. And with this new mental construct, a whole new you emerges. So this is happening in the background, the inner work that's happening on you. And externally, we provide you with the training plans, the meal plans, the coaching calls, the webinars. But it's showing up and doing this work on the inside that has it be sustainable. That's why this is not a fad diet. This is not even a diet. This is just teaching you the principles of your body. So I'll give you an example of some of the ones that were there in my mind. I saw my dad as overweight. I saw myself as overweight. And the moment I hit 30, it was just getting worse, right? And I had a story that I read on the cover of a Cosmo magazine called, Do You Have the Fat Gene? And I made a decision, I have the fat gene. And I got to be not responsible for it, because I could point at my dad and say, Dad, it's your fault, because you and all your brothers are overweight and you got these big pot bellies. It's definitely not my problem. This is genetic. This is completely your problem, right? That way my mind can't find a solution, because I found an external factor that's responsible for the way I wound up. When I realized, I Googled, how do you operate out the fat gene? Can you genetically alter the fat gene? I realized there's no such thing as a fat gene. It was an informal term on the cover of a Cosmo magazine, not some scientific journal. It was the Cosmo. Don't ask me why I was reading a Cosmo magazine or where I saw Cosmo magazine. It was just on the cover. I didn't even open that magazine to read that article. And when I debunked that, not only do I transform, but I got to pay it back to the prior generation. My dad took on the program. He's lost 17.5 kilos. From as far back as we can remember, he's had high cholesterol and high BP. And at 70 years old, he took on our program. By 71, he was asked by the doctors, not by me, by the doctors, to discontinue his high cholesterol statins, high BP medication. And he also had eczema and psoriasis, which are just the body communicating that something you're taking in is not working for you. And he's got that significantly reduced, if not almost disappeared. And again, he's now 75 and he's doing this program. And one of the best testimonials I can ever receive is when my dad says to me, when he turned 74 on his 74th birthday, he says, I'm around 3 more years because I did your program. Like, that is the best testimonial that I could ever hear or receive. And I invite you guys to really get connected to that, because I got to get my dad take on his well-being, and now he's a granddad. He had no grandkids when he was the overweight guy. And all of his siblings have had some kind of heart failure, liver failure, stomach failure, lung failure, something has gone on with them, or passed away with cancer. And him, touch wood, has been really great. And I'm grateful he's been very coachable at his age and taken on the shift that he's done. Here's another limiting belief that was there in my mind. That's me on the left, and that's my fiance at the time. And I remember I would look at myself going out and partying with this beautiful girl, and I would look at us in the mirror and I would just think, I better propose to this girl before she runs away, because she is lean and I'm just getting bigger and bigger. I'm joking, I didn't say that. What I said was, we used to go out and eat all these meals, and we'd eat loads of pizza and pasta, and it's unfair because I eat those meals, I feel sluggish and lethargic, and I'm yawning in a nightclub, and the next day I've put on 0.5 kilo. And you can see my skin is actually flushing, it goes red there. And it used to happen to me all the time. And I would break a sweat in like 3 seconds when I climbed about 8 steps, right? And this girl could also eat the same, drink more than me, party the night away, and the next day she looks the same. And I thought, life is freaking unfair. I was like, how come some people can get away with it? And I know all of you that are struggling with weight, if weight is a struggle for you, you know somebody in your life that really pees you off, which they eat twice as much as you, they drink more than you, and they keep this lean physique. And the reason is, and the bit we were never taught in school, and it's a 5,000-year-old science from Ayurveda called the science of body types. And we have different body types. And I am a body type that's called the Kapha body type in Ayurveda, or what's called Pitta Kapha. And in Western science called mesomorph, endomorph, meso-endo. And if you don't understand your body type, you'll be eating in line with everyone else. But once you understand your body type, you'll be like, hang on, these sets of foods actually don't serve my body, because that food with this body type creates lethargy, fatigue, tiredness, loss of focus. And I thought, wow, remove these out and I get to experience a peak me. And so part of the requirements of our program when you sign up is you get this questionnaire. We ascertain your body type based on Eastern science and based on Western science. We create a hybrid and we accommodate for today's lifestyle, which is we're not working out in the fields and farming, but we are sitting in cars and Uber and the tube or at home and walking a lot less than our grandparents did. And we adjust for that in what we advise you and coach you to do in terms of consuming calories or macronutrients and all that. And we teach you what macronutrients are. Many people don't know what macronutrients are, and we teach that through our programs. So why did we end up and wind up the way we did? Why is it so normal that right now, this is the US statistics, 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese? Why are we in a world where that's normal and okay, right? We have more people today that are dying of lifestyle disease and obesity than were people in the 80s dying of hunger. Like, that is a massive shift that has happened in 40 years from when I was born, right? So it's because we grew up with this template called the Eat Well Guide. This used to be called the Eat Well Plate. And if you studied in an English curriculum system like I did in Zambia, influenced by the British education system, we got given this diagram of a plate with a fork and knife on the side, and it said, make sure your plate has X amount of vegetables, X amount of dairy, X amount of fats, X amount of poultry, X amount of bread, right? It has that big image there. And we think if I'm missing any one of those, oh my God, I'm going to be deficient in something. And this is giving you one piece of instruction for all of you. And there are no two people on today's webinar that have the same height and the same weight and the same body composition and the same lifestyle and the same stresses. You're all so unique. And that's what Informative Health is giving everyone the same script. And the only differentiation here is in the bottom there, it says females should have 2,000 calories and males should have 2,500 calories. And I think that's ridiculous, because me and Tony Robbins, we have different heights and we wouldn't be consuming the same amount of energy. And me working in a desk job at the bank and the guy working on the construction site next to JP Morgan, building this next skyscraper, would have completely different levels of energy expenditure. But we walked into the same cafe and we bought the same bap and the soup and the soda. And I went back to my desk and he went back to his construction site. So we consumed the same, but we spent and burnt differently. So understanding how unique you are is what transformative health is about. It's understanding educating you to understand who you are and how you work. So we create programs that are molded and tailored around your lifestyle, your body type. Once we are certain it, we teach you and coach on what's called functional eating. We work on and check your body composition. So we ask you to buy these body composition scales where you know your starting body fat percentage. You know what's called your visceral fat, which is a very important thing to know. It's the amount of internal fat that you have that layers and coats your organs or your blood vessels. And this is where you see people who externally look skinny suddenly have a heart failure and have a heart attack. It's because that internal fat is clogging their arteries, their organs, and so on. And it makes everything be on overload to survive and get through a day. And then the fifth thing that we cover in Transformative Health is we're not just coaching you on the physical. It's not just about bicep curls and cutting the food out. We look at the emotional side. We look at the mental side. We look at the spiritual side. And we really ask you to look at, there are some underlying issues. There are some people here, and throughout our 5 years in the program, they've gone through some childhood trauma, or they're dealing with a family breakout with their sibling or their parents, or they're completely in a job that is so not aligned with their nature, right? They're doing something that's totally not their authentic self. And that's a stressful environment because internally, your body creates certain hormones to cope with that, called fight or flight hormones, called adrenaline and cortisol. And they create this internal state, which is a very hostile state. And our physique completely conforms and adapts to what's perceived as a dangerous environment. You might not be scared, you might not be worried, you might not have external fear, but internally your body reads that differently, reads that setting differently. Sometimes a stressful relationship or a marriage or something of that sort completely impacts our well-being. And it leads to autoimmune systems like eating disorders, cancers, and so on. And we explain how all of that happens. And when you understand it, you're like, damn, why do I get triggered every time the person says that? It's so not worth the impact it's having to my physical and mental well-being. And so we coach you on that. Like I say, you can't manage what you can't measure. So we do recommend people checking in regularly on their scales. And we all have different starting points. So somebody who is already in the healthy range to go to an athletic range will have a very different plan to somebody who's overweight and wants to just come into the healthy range, right? Those are very different programs. So you need to understand where you are. We look at where you are. You weigh in weekly, once a week, and you check in with us or your coach. And then we keep working and altering and molding your program till you figure out, wow, this is really shifting for me. And then you hit a plateau at some point. And again, we shake up your program. So that's really how this program is designed. It's very interactive and it's very kind of, various check-in points with you. So what do we mean by bringing accountability to your body? A lot of us, we do this for our bank balance and our taxes. We take track of every penny and we report it on the 31st of January at about 11:53 p.m. at night. We're there online logging in what revenue we had and what expenditure we had, and this is how much we owe the tax man, and we sign off to say that this is accurate and we click submit. But we don't do that for our body. We don't account for what's going in, and we have no idea if at all or what's going out of our body, right? We don't have any form of record. Why are we doing that to our body? Why do we lack ownership and compassion and love for our own physique and body? And this is where we come in. This is where we coach people to understand their physique. And for those of you that are already signed up, this is the bit I want you to pay attention. You can also screenshot this if you want. And I want you guys who are already signed up to the program, and even if you're not, you can still do this. Download these 2 apps for now. There's a number of apps that we use and recommend, which are in your email, which you'd have received, called What Next. But download MyFitnessPal and download Runkeeper. And these 2 apps, one records energy in and the other one records energy out. And in MyFitnessPal, you need to set up your profile with your current weight and your target weight. And if you're on a weight loss program, whatever your target weight is, you choose the setting called lose 1 kg per week, right? I know you might have only total of 2 or 3 kilos, but I want you to specifically put lose 1 kg per week. Secondly, you go under settings, and under settings, there's a section called goals. And under goals, there's a part called calorie and macronutrient settings, right? If you take a screenshot and you go through each of the bullet points, it will make sense. But if you hear what I'm saying now, you'll go through it. And if you still need support, there's a full demo video explaining what I'm reiterating now. So you want to add in there that you change your protein intake to 30% of your calories need to come from protein, 30% of them need to come from fat, and 40% need to come from carbs. So if and when anyone asks you, hang on, are you not eating carbs? Are you on a carb-free diet? The answer is no. We're still going to get 40% of our energy needs sourced from carbohydrates. But the quality of those carbs are going to shift. We're going to give you a list of forbidden carbs, and there's going to be a list of very healthy and empowering and fruitful carbs for you. And then under diary settings, go to your diary, change your diary sharing to public so that I can review your food diary once the program begins, or your coaches can review you. And go under friends and search for FITBanker and add me. You can add me under both apps as FITBanker. This way you can see what I eat. You can follow me, you can stalk me, you can do whatever, right? So both these apps, MyFitnessPal will show the foods that I'm taking and consuming and recording them. And Runkeeper is showing what I'm moving out there, how much I'm moving a day, whether it's a workout or a walk or whatever that is. And then the last step is you need to connect under settings, connect these two apps together. There's a section under MyFitnessPal under settings called apps and devices, and you can sync it to the app called Runkeeper. So I know many of you might have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, and everyone asks us, can I sync it to that app instead? For purposes of this challenge, we recommend you connect to Runkeeper, and we'll explain why during the course of the program. It also gives us one app to go to review your activity. So how do you lose fat? Those of you that are here that want to lose fat, how do you lose fat? So I just want to acknowledge that we have a 17-minute time check to end of this webinar, and we'll have some time for some Q&A. How do you lose fat? Well, the answer to lose 1 pound of fat is creating a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. Now, how do you do that? Well, very simply, you can join me for 1 day up Mount Kilimanjaro. On the longest day, we will burn 3,500 calories. But of course, you can't do that every day. So what we do here in this part of the world is we spread that deficit we want to create across a week. So we create an average daily deficit of about 500 calories. And coaches that are on this program with your participants where they're not losing weight, what we need to keep looking at is, are they creating this remaining balance of at least or an average of 500, right? And what is that remaining? This image on the left is showing this person is supposed to consume 1,700 calories. And every time they consume food, it reduces their allowance. So they consumed 1,109. Every time they exercise, it increases their allowance. And their remaining calories for the day, or the calorie deficit for the day, is 864. So this is a brilliant day for somebody that wants to lose weight. They've created a deficit of 864. So when I want to lose weight, knowing this information, I can completely control and alter my body composition. I can forecast and predict what I need to do to lose 1 kilo, to be a kilo lighter by Sunday or next week Friday. I can completely predict that and manage that and create a plan and stick to that. And then we create the plan that will support you through this journey. And what you tweak is the weightings and the calories to make sure that they work for what your specific goal is. The second one is designing habits. Most of us have days that are called, they're a reactionary day. Our days are completely a byproduct or a function of what our boss tells us, or what our husband tells us, or our wife tells us, or what our kids tell us, or our parents tell us, or whoever else is telling us. We are completely adapting to that. Now we're going to invite you for the first time to create and design what we call your design the day. So you design a set of habits, and we offer you a number of habits to start putting into the design of your day that will alter the output and outcome of your body composition. And some of those habits are, we reboot your metabolism. And how do we reboot your metabolism? Metabolism, quite simplistically, is how your body converts food into 3 things: energy, muscle, and fat. But we know that we can alter this by altering the quality of the food. So if I consume quicker breaking down food rather than longer breaking down food, I can create food that is a source of energy and will give me more energy when I need energy. If, however, I've come back from the gym and I've created muscle tissue tear, I will consume foods that contribute to muscle growth. And knowing how to eat what at what time of the day is what we call functional eating. And we coach you on how to influence and rewire your metabolism, one, by how quickly your body alters food into these 3 things. And number 2, you influence the ratio that goes towards energy, the ratio that goes towards muscle building, and the ratio that goes towards fat by altering your macronutrients. And our body, as I said at the start, is completely a result of our belief system and what we do and what we eat, and also what we do after we've eaten. So tonight, those of you that are having supper or have had supper, what's going to happen after your supper is you're either going to sit in front of the couch and watch TV, or you'll go to sleep. And what that means is the food that you've consumed, about 500 to 800 to 1,000 calories, are then being digested in your body over the next 3 to 4 hours, and they're looking for somewhere to go. But you're lying in your bed, so it's got nowhere to go. So it goes completely to storage, right? So we teach you how to rewire that metabolism, and you then know what you eat depends on what you just did in terms of your activity or what you're about to go and do. And it's called functional eating, where we can make a match between food fulfilling on the function that we're about to engage into. And most of us never understand or relate to food this way. We think of food as a thing to please the tongue. And this is something that we specifically coach on. The next thing we need to do is most of our foods, because of the additives and preservatives in our food, and also just the nature of high sugar content in our foods, a lot of our foods are acidic in nature. And when they're acidic in nature, an acidic environment is great. It's brilliant for storing fat and also for thriving cancerous cells. But of course, we don't want that. We want an alkaline environment. So how do you alkalize the body? We have alkalizing smoothies. We provide you with 5 smoothie recipes that you can have, and you have these as a breakfast replacement. They replace your breakfast. These smoothies, you can have 2 or 3 servings of these. They are quite low calorie, and they're quite intentionally designed with a certain macronutrient, and we teach you on how you can create modifications of this. But you can either take a screenshot of these, or if we're connected on some social media platform, Insta or Facebook or wherever you're connected to, with me, I recommend social media. I'm a lot more responsive there. I will send you the full images and the whole images of these if you want a high resolution version of these recipes, plus the 3 others. These are designed with more vegetables in them and less fruit. And when you go to the mall and you order a smoothie or you buy something on a packet that says innocent, you are likely consuming a lot more fruit, sugar, and very little vegetables, and it gets you more hooked on it and you enjoy the taste, but it's not really giving you alkalinity in your body. So most of those are working against us. The second one is, how do you trigger fat burn, right? We spoke about how much fat you need to burn to lose a pound of fat, how much calories you need to burn, but how do you trigger it? How do you actually get into what we call the fat burning zone? That thing is called thermogenesis. And the way you do that is you have to get your heart rate to a certain percentage of what's called your maximum heart rate. Now, you can do that by doing a 7-minute HIIT workout, and within 7 minutes, you could raise your heart rate to a state that burns fat. You've heard of these articles that keep coming out, do this workout and you will burn fat while you're at work. Effectively, it's a HIIT workout that they're talking about. And all HIIT workouts, whether you do it at your gym, or you do this yourself at home, or you do 3 rounds of this at home, or you join me on a live workout. Some of you, we're running complimentary live workouts right now, each week during lockdown. And if you want to be part of them, message me or connect with me somehow on social media, and I will send you the Zoom link to join them. What we're doing with those workouts, we're trying to get your heart rate to about 70% of your maximum heart rate. So anywhere between 60 and 90% of your maximum heart rate is where fat begins to break down and burn. How do you calculate your maximum heart rate? It's 220 minus your age. So if you're 40 years old, 220 minus 40 is 180, and 70% of that, which is, for me, sweet spot is about 120, 130, I am triggering fat burn, right, at that heart rate. And if you can get at that heart rate for about 7 to 10 minutes a day, then you're winning. Your body composition is completely on the right trajectory. It's only 7 to 10 minutes that you have to be at that heart rate, but to do that, your workout might be anything from 7 to 30 minutes, right, depending on how long you can keep it up there. So we show you how to do that over the program, but literally, if you follow this design, like I want to say, if you're not on the program, do this workout based on the recommended time and rest periods there, and with high intensity, you will trigger that fat burn. So again, how does the program work? We encourage, and some of you are here today because someone shared about their journey out there. And we say that when you're sharing something out there, you're weaving your new reality. And most of us do this every time. When I invite people to say, hey, would you like to do my program? Ronnie, I'd love to do your program, but I don't have any money. And you meet them after 3 months. Hey, so when are you doing the program? I'd love to do your program, but I don't have any money. The amount of times they're saying out there in the world, I don't have any money, and they're sharing that message out there, is completely creating their reality, right? And if you say, no matter what I do, I just can't lose weight, and the more you keep saying that out there, that becomes your reality. If you keep saying to people, I am so busy and my health has completely deteriorated because of my kids, the more you say that, your brain has a complete justification to not alter that status quo. So I invite you to share what you're up to, what you're creating, whether it's in business, whether it's in health, whether it's in relationships. Begin to weave your reality by sharing it. And this is a classic example of that 47-year-old urologist. He is what I call a mega sharer. This guy posted daily on Facebook at the age of 47, whipping my butts in terms of sharing and how much he shared out there. When I started FITBank in our first year, we met this guy, and this guy went on to lose 53 pounds. And there's a strong correlation with our participants between the amount that they share out there, that they're creating and working on their six-pack and losing weight and signing up for a triathlon, and what actually happens. There's a strong correlation out there. And those of you that are on the program or coaches, you've seen this live. Those of you that are trying here to find out about how this program works, you might be a bit skeptical, but try this out in your own world for those areas you want to transform, and begin to see how easy it is when you're sharing something to inspire and empower others, not to like, hey, look at me, show off type of sharing, but share to inspire and empower others, which is where we come from when we share. Now, the fourth one, this is a pitfall I want all of you to know, and this is why our coaching comes in and why we have a coaching body. All of you guys, I promise you, all of you here are in some shape or form, you're an achiever. You would not have signed up to this program or even been interested in taking on your health. I can tell you a very large number of people signed up for this webinar. Not that whole number of people are present today on today's webinar, right? Because there is a distinction between an achiever and those people that are inspired momentarily in a moment. And what we call by the achiever's mindset, it means each of you have accomplished something great in one particular area of your life. Now, that's like a double-edged sword. There's a good side and a bad side to that. And it is because you've been so good in an area, when you take on an area that you're not naturally good at, like maybe you're really good at making money or investing in property or being a mom, but when it comes to taking on your health, if you're superb in these areas, when it comes to taking on your health, and if you suddenly find, you know what, I'm not doing this to my standard or my values. I've missed 3 webinars already. I haven't recorded my food for a week. Ronnie, you know what? Started this program. It doesn't work for me. I'm throwing my toys in. I'm out. Like, I don't want to be on this course. And you quit. And that's a self-sabotage mechanism that all of us, the greatest of us, have. Sometimes we've done this in our marriages. We've done this in our businesses. We've done this in our health multiple times. But in this program, when you do it, our coaches are trained to look out for when you do that, what's called your self-sabotage mechanism. And their role is to get on a call with you and say, come on, Jigs, come on, Manish. You know, we want you to be this most amazing coach or entrepreneur and whatever it is that you do out there in the world, and want to support you, right? I got it. You didn't do that. You know, forgive yourself. We bring you some exercises on forgiveness and self-compassion and get you fired up and empowered and back into action. That's what we're here to do. For the 90 days, you've got us for that, for pennies, for the equivalent of a coffee a day or less, right? So that's what you're getting by being part of this program, is really pulling you out of that rut every time you fall into it. And finally, the 5th part of having anything be sustainable, Aristotle has this quote, which is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And how do we create this habit for you? It's by belonging and being part of a structure that works, right? So starting anything is easy. All of you have started and signed up on the 1st or the 3rd of Jan to a new gym. All of us have done that, right? And then by February, the world happened, or coronavirus happened, or something happened to you guys. In lockdown, our participants have caused the most amazing health transformations in 5 years of our journey. We've had the best results in lockdown, right? Which for some people, they're saying, oh, their normal speech is, oh, it's lockdown, man, I've piled on 10 kilos. That hasn't happened with our participants. And I really acknowledge our participants for that. But what supported them is belonging to a part of a community and a structure. So what works? One is, what works and what keeps the mind driven to be in action. One is you're making this declaration that you're signing up to a program. So we invite people to, it's not a must, but we recommend that you share your before photo and your day one on social media or with some friends and family. You do not have to if you're uncomfortable. But I just want to let you know, whoever does gets smashing results. Hashtag no pressure. Number 2 is surround yourself with a team and community around you, right? Those are your coaches. These are other people that are up to what you're up to. You know, I was at JP Morgan and I would turn to the guy in the cubicle next to me. And I'm like, Atul, we're going to crush our health this time. We're going to get a 6-pack in 6 months. Let's do this, man. 6th June. Let's do this. And he goes, yeah, come on, let's do this. And we sign up to the gym. We go there. And then he goes out for lunch and he comes back with a box of Krispy Kremes. I'm just like, man, what happened? We just said we're going to do this. And you got to surround yourself with people that are up to what you're up to. not the people that are keeping you in your status quo. So find that tribe that is already up to this. This is what we bring together on a WhatsApp group, on Facebook groups. We have a host of this community that are fired up and in action and regularly sharing their participation. And that nudges you to be your new normal. You keep seeing people's photos of, hey, here's my smoothie today, did 5.6 kilometers. First time I went on a 13-kilometer trek ever. Wow, I've just signed up to a half marathon. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? And then they go and do these crazy feats that they've never imagined possible. And they do them in their 40s and 50s and 60s, right? And they sign up to Kilimanjaro and a whole bunch of other stuff. And that's the fourth point, called dangle that carrot. We invite people to sign up to something they cannot do. This is what the brain is designed to be challenged. If it doesn't sign up, if it signs up to something that's easy, it trashes it. If it signs up to something uncomfortable, like signing up to Kili or a marathon or a triathlon or Ironman, you're like, you know what? I got to be ready for this. I am not going to go there and be stretched off. I'm going to work my best to be in the best shape and physique and energy and strength. And that's what pulls people out of the comfort zone and causes these amazing results. So that said, what do we offer and what is the FITBANKER challenge? Like I mentioned at the start, signing up, we get to complete what's called a body type assessment. We understand you by your body type. We ask you for some body composition metrics and stats. We provide you with meal plan ideas based on your responses to that. We provide you with training programs that you can use either in the gym or at home or outdoors. Currently, we're running complimentary live hits. Whether you're on a program or not, you are welcome to join those. We provide you with an ab routine because almost everyone says, Ronnie, I want workout. I want to get a six-pack. I don't know why people want, everyone wants to get that. I wanted to as well. And then we have 10 webinars like this one and some extra bonus webinars and classes and master classes that we do for our participants and Q&A. You have access to this online community, and we also do monthly treks. And even during lockdown, we've been doing treks, and we've been doing them virtually distant. So everyone goes on a trek in their own region on a certain day, and we're connecting on Zoom, and we have check-in points. And it's amazing what we can make happen even during lockdown. We couldn't legally gather people together, but we all went in our own regions, and we still ran monthly treks. We do those treks as training for Kilimanjaro, but if you're on a 90-day program, the day ones are free for you. Then you have direct access to the coaching team, to myself, to your coach, and we're a very, very kind of friends and family organization, right? So you will be personally served, and I'm personally interested in anyone that takes on our program. I want to have you cause an unrecognizable you. I want you to live that life where you tap into your unlimited potential. That's where and why I exist, right? So it's very easy for me to do what I do because I love it, because it's a fun challenge for me to take somebody from somewhere where they were stuck in their life and completely alter the trajectory of their life. So any questions? I'll take if there are any questions around the challenge. I'm going to very quickly go into, and if there's any questions around health or your transformation, let me know. The one-to-one program that we do, a custom coaching program, is $5,000, which is over 6 months. This is something for people that want to have that personal time and structure around them and their availability. We can make happen. But what we recommend and what I'm inviting you to is the 90-day challenge. And the 90-day challenge costs $12.99, and the early bird is just over half, which is $697. So that's about $100 a week. For $100 a week is the full price. But if you sign up now, and many of you have already grabbed the Mega Early Bird Pack, we have a few remaining at $497, right? If you would like to get that, there's just very few remaining of the Mega Early Bird Pack. If you would like to join the upcoming program starting on July 20th, I don't know if it's lockdown or coronavirus, there is an increased awareness and people taking action around their health. And we've had our best growth in 5 years over this period. And I'm grateful and thankful for all of you that have become part of our community because it's just fun doing it in larger groups than doing anything on your own. And so if you would like to join and grab one of the remaining 497 packs, there's literally a few remaining, and I'm pretty sure that they will, I'm confident they will be gone by today. But if you don't get that, because you're on today's webinar, if you want £100 off the next tier, if you miss out on the Mega Early Bird, if you don't get it, then you can use this code, which is applicable today till tomorrow morning. It expires tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. because some of you guys are joining from different time zones, and you use the code 100 off today. right? So this applies only till tomorrow, 9 a.m. And there are still a few 497 left. If you want to sign up, it's fitbanker.com/go. And are there any questions from anyone around what we've covered on today's? Malia, is there a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've already joined, like, you know, without even looking into it, what it is, but I know your journey and I've been with you like on and off. And I always wanted to do it. And here I am. I said, it starts when you register, right? But my biggest concern is my time commitment with things, because I'm like a machine right now, like, and especially my work takes a lot of my time. And when it comes to food, I'm a very last minute person. So my concern is around how much time commitment is needed and how do you prepare people to prepare things in advance, which is probably one of my biggest challenge. To exercise won't be, I think it will be the time issue. So what is the time scale required and how far ahead you prepare people, or how does it work in that sense?
So Malia is an amazing super mom of two and an entrepreneur, and she signed up to this program. Before I answer, is there any of the participants currently on the program who want to share how are you managing your time and managing to do what you do and feed yourself and train? Any participants currently on the program want to share?
I can share, Ronnie.
Yeah, Sue, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, if you're feeling like your life is very busy and hectic and like you're on the go all the time, like what you get to learn is that this is going to be a new way of life, you know, and you don't only just get to transform the organization of like what you eat when you exercise, but also other areas of your life, how you manage your kids and how you manage your work, your finances, all of that kind of stuff. It just all kind of falls into place. I'm really fortunate because, I mean, I wake up very early in the morning because I like to get a lot of my exercise done in the morning. You know, 5:30 starts, I do my workouts in the morning. I get 6,000 steps done before 7:30. And it's amazing, like, you know, and then I can just get on with my day. You know, I've got a 2-liter bottle of water that I know that I'm going to get through for the day. It's ready. My smoothies are pretty much ready in the morning. And then the 2 apps that you're using, the MyFitnessPal and the Runkeeper, are just awesome to keep you track. And because you're looking at the numbers, you just focus more on, you're just more present to your body, your health, and what you're eating. So it will all just kind of fit into place when you start going with it.
Awesome.
You know, I've got a 14-year-old daughter. You know, I'm a single mom. I live in Southend. A lot of my work is like in London or wherever. I do lots of work on Zoom as well. And then, you know, as a single mom, you've got to do the house, the cleaning, the ironing, all of that on your own as well. So you just make it work.
And she's a super HR coach that we're going to completely launch into this universe. And it's going to be another unstoppable version of Sue.
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sue. So I just want to acknowledge while we were sharing that, and I just want to respond to you, Malia. To me, what I say to everyone that has a concern around time, we all have 24 hours in a day. We all have 7 days a week. Nobody here is given 1 extra minute more than Malia or anyone else. And in those 24 hours, I promise you right now, you're doing this. You are eating, you are sleeping, you're breathing, you're thinking, and you're moving. And all we're going to offer you is how to alter the quality of those 5 things, right? The quality of everything from your thoughts to your breath, to the quality of your food, the quality and timing of your sleep, and the quality of your movement. And that's all we do. We alter the quality and within the same quantity of time, 24 hours. Because whatever you've eaten today is doing something in you right now. But if you ate what we were guiding you, it would have a different way it would work and function in your body, right? And we're committed to causing leaders, like I say, so wherever your time is stretched because you are trying to hold on to and control everything, we cause you to cause people in your life to relieve you of that stuff. I mean, that's also how we run our organization. So you get to see how the organization works. We have coaches that we're developing so that they get to develop and launch themselves in whatever they do in their world. And our model is an open game for them to learn from. Okay, any other questions? I just want to acknowledge that somebody called Bartholomew just signed up, right now. I don't know, I haven't seen a Bartholomew here, but somebody has just signed up right now while we're there. Okay, got it, Umit. Inspiring all the best, but thank you. All right, any other questions?
I just wanted to say that hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'm signed up as well to start on the 20th of July.
Woohoo!
And it was you're talking about you know, being leaders and learning from other people in the community, and it was a current participant that got me very interested. And what was interesting was she said to me back in January, "Oh, Jen, let's do it together." And I said, "Oh God, I can't, you know, because I've got a 1-year-old baby, and so does she, though, you know." And she was doing it, and then I met her after she'd done the challenge, and we had a chat. And I
you
thought,
met her within 90 days.
Yes, and she'd done it, and she motivated and sort of inspired me to do it. And I thought, you know, I did think, my God, you know, if I'd just joined with her in January, where would I be, you know?
And how much did she lose in the 90 days when you met her again?
Oh, I'm not sure actually, but
I'll tell you, she lost 14 kilos.
Oh, 14.
She lost 14
yes.
kilos. And this is Lais that she's talking about. This is somebody who lives in Chiswick. Hopefully, I'm going to cross you one day, Jennifer, in the park when we're doing a live HIIT workout. But Lais is a mutual friend of ours, lives in the neighborhood, known me for a long time, decided to throw her hat over the wall. Within 30 days, her husband got inspired, and he was like, damn, my wife is like getting mega fit. And then the husband joined, and he has a lean body, he's an ectomorph, and he's bulked up and chiseled and got toned within 90 days of his program. So both of them are amazing ambassadors and FITBANKers, and you know, really pleased that you got inspired by her, and and looking forward to also creating the same for you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions, guys?
Hi, Ronnie. It's Fahana.
Yeah, Fahana.
Had a quick question. You know the app that you use for MyFitnessPal?
Yep.
Do you track everything that you eat on there during the challenge?
We invite you to track everything. And if you don't track everything, we are human beings who know that we're dealing with a human being. And so if you don't record everything, we don't crack the virtual whip on you, right? What we do is we have you just get, well, when you don't record something, what is the impact of it? But the reason we ask you to record something, even when we have what are called, we don't call them cheat days, we call them trek and treat days, is you need to experience the pinch of what happens to your body when you consume something wrong. So you have people here that are dealing with things like emotional eating, especially during lockdown. We're opening that cupboard like every 5 minutes and getting some snack out of there, right? And it was when my own challenge, when I went out to meet some mates for some drinks, and I said, hey guys, I'm not drinking. And then suddenly this guy comes with a tray of 7 tequilas. And I had to go home that night and record 7 tequilas. And I thought, damn, is that how many calories are in the tequilas? And then you learn that way. And, you know, I don't drink as much now. And this year I haven't drunk at all, right? But those pinches that we have cause a shift and transformation for us. So sometimes people eat this bag of crisps or their chips and they're like, oh, Ronnie, you won't believe what I did. And I didn't record it. I'm like, go and record it. So you know what you've done to your body. And we're very fun and friendly about it. But the answer is yes, we invite you to record everything. And the reason we invite you to do that is we are rewiring your relationship to food. One existing relationship we have to food is called taste-based. Another one is called emotional connection to that particular food. And the third one is called habitual. But when we start to record food, and for 90 days, that's a repeat pattern, your brain begins to recognize by looking at a piece of food, a numerical relationship. It begins to understand, what does that offer me in terms of how much protein do I need? Or is it going to blow my sugar budget? Or is it giving me too much fat or too many calories? You form a whole new relationship to it. So that is why we invite people to record that.
Cool. And one more question, sorry. You've got the early bird rate there on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just gone to register. But I see there's an extra £40 fee on there. Is that?
Yeah, that's an Eventbrite fee, unfortunately, which we don't absorb. But
Fine.
Yeah. So it is 497, which is our program, but for the mega early bird price, because it's discounted by over 800, we're passing on the charges on that one.
Super.
Okay, cool. I mean, if those are an issue, DM me after this if they're not all.
No, I will do. I will do. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Sorry, could I just say, with the coach that you get assigned, when do you get assigned the coach? Is it at the very beginning, or is it after you've started a couple of weeks?
The coach is assigned in week 2 of the program, because when our program starts, there are some amazing human beings out there who just love to pay us the full price, and we're very welcome with that. And we charge the full price for up to the first week, up to day 7 of the program. Up to day 7, we still allow people to join the program, and so we wait for everyone to be in. We close off the program formally, and then we start the challenge. And in week 2, you're assigned a new coach, but your first coaching call happens in week 3.
That's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Anyone else? Any final questions?
I did have one, and now it's gone from my mind. I'm like, there's a question. Oh, okay. What I wanted to ask about, nothing to do with coaches, but do we have a session on 20th via email? How does it, like, or no, WhatsApp group?
Yeah,
there's a WhatsApp group.
The WhatsApp group will be set up about a week or 10 days before the challenge start date. And on that WhatsApp group, there will be a few of the coaches and the head coach and myself and Ambika. We'll connect with you. We'll nudge everyone to say, have you read this email? Have you set this up? Have you ordered your scales? Have you got your protein powders? Blah, 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 which I all explained in your setup email that was sent to you, right? And then on day 1, the first week is a very low intensity uptake of the assignments, because people are setting up their apps, and they're recording their food, and they're doing their shopping, and they're discovering. The first 2 weeks are discovery phase. And then we have the first webinar that week on a Thursday, and the following week, the webinar is on I believe it's on a Tuesday, right? For this challenge, they're Tuesday night webinar, 7:30 to 8:45, much like today's timing. And only the first one and the last one are 2 hours long, because in the first one, we're doing introductions, and on the last one, we're doing acknowledgements. But otherwise, they're 1 hour to 1 hour, 15 minutes. Okay, guys, if there's no additional question, we are going to wrap up. If somebody has a real burning question, then do speak now. But I just want to acknowledge everybody that's on, that has taken on or being open to exploring investing in themselves. I want to leave you with this beautiful quote, which really was a wake-up call for me, and I discovered and got present to this lying in a hospital bed. And I would invite all of you to not wait for that moment to get your awakening. It was this quote by Dalai Lama. When asked what surprised him most about humanity, he says, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, and then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies having never really lived. And that last sentence there is the reason why we have the adventure arm of FITBANKER, but that's not what we're discussing here today, which is some awesome treks and retreats that we run each year. All right, on that note, guys, I just want to thank everyone again once more for being on today's session. Have an awesome evening and awesome rest of the week. And if any queries, please connect with me on social media and reach out to me. Otherwise, bye for now. See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.